What's up everyone, welcome back to another video. Today, Zwift has finally released the new New York expansion, and I'm going to be telling you everything you need to know about this new expansion. Let's dive into the video. Alright, so as of now, with version 1.100, Zwifters can now ride in the new New York expansion, and this expansion is honestly one of the biggest ones we've seen in a really long time. This expansion covers 31 kilometers and is the biggest expansion on Zwift in 5 years, and I think New York was long due for an update because before it had really those glass roads and Central Park, which was honestly not the most fun to ride. There were hills everywhere and it was honestly just really miserable and one of my least favorite worlds. So it's great to finally see New York getting a nice little refresh so that you can actually ride it without finding yourself on a mountain every 5 minutes or so. And for Zwift Unlocked stages 4 and 5, you'll be able to ride all of these new routes, and it's going to be a great way to explore those new roads. So the new expansion will take riders outside of Manhattan and through Times Square and over Brooklyn Bridge into the historic Prospect Park, which is going to be a pretty interesting route, and it's going to give you a lot more area that you can cover in New York, which is really cool to see. Now with these new roads, we're actually going to get a whole new concept called power segments. Now you might have heard a little bit about this in the This Season on Zwift video that I covered, but it's actually going to be live now starting with New York, and it's going to be called power segments. And instead of the normal sprint segments, you're going to see a lot of these new power segments where it's essentially just say 5 seconds of giving yourself the all-out power to try to see if you can hit a new power PR, and it'll give you sort of that graph of where you're at compared to what you've done before. It'll tell you if, oh, is this a 1-year best, a 90-day best, and it's going to be a whole competition between who can hit the highest watts. So I think, in my opinion, it's going to be a little favored towards those heavier riders, so they're going to be able to put in those higher watts and be the ones topping the leaderboard. But it is a great way to encourage riders to really try and hit those max powers and try and hit a new power PR. So it's great for everybody, but I think in the end it's going to favor the heavier riders a little more when it comes down to the actual leaderboard itself. Now you're going to see segments that are 5 seconds long, 10 seconds long, and 20 seconds long, and they'll be scattered throughout New York, and there will be a total of 6 new power segments to tackle. Now, as you would expect, there are going to be a lot of new routes included in this release, and it's going to include a total of 15 new routes, and that's going to be 12 riding routes and 3 running routes. So great to see the runners getting some love here with a couple of new routes for them to explore. Now, also, over the next few months, Zwift is also going to release additional 5 routes to be unlocked, and I suspect there will be even more later on down the road, but over the next few months, you can expect at least 5 new routes coming. So a brief overview of each route. We've got these 12 new riding routes, with the first one being What's the Limit, with 31 kilometers or 219 meters of elevation gain. You're going to get double span spin, which is going to be 12.6 kilometers or 120 meters of climbing. And we're going to get the Prospect Park Loop with 5.5 kilometers or 37 meters, which would probably be a really great route for a crit race. So I'm suspecting we're going to see a lot of new races on these new routes because as I've ridden on these routes, I've noticed that they're really great for racing. They'll be very fast and really tactical races, so it'll be interesting to see how those play out. Next route, we've got Green to the Screen with 28.4 kilometers or 207 meters. We've got Double Parked with 42.4 kilometers and 330 meters. We've got, I don't know how to pronounce this route, but it's like fudged about it. 79 kilometers, 838 meters. We've got Spinfinity with 19.3 kilometers or 155 meters. We've got Spinfinity Ultra with 35 kilometers or 291 meters of elevation gain. We've got the Greenway with 36.8 kilometers and 292 meters of elevation gain. We've got the Tokyo Tornado with 10.3 kilometers and 53 meters. And we've got the Avon Flyer with 5.1 kilometers and 30 meters. Lastly, we're going to get the Isendorf Express with 7.3 kilometers and 53 meters of climbing. So for the 3 new running routes, we've got the Prospect Park Loop, which is going to be just over a 5K. We've got the Tokyo Tornado route, which is going to be just over a 10K. And the Avon Flyer route, which is going to be just over 3 kilometers. Overall, I think Zwift did a really great job with this new expansion. It's great to see some new roads in New York, and it's enough, I think, to actually get me to want to ride those new roads, which is honestly great because before I always avoided New York, and now I think I'd actually choose to ride New York. So great job to Zwift, great job to the art team because there's a lot of cool new things in this release. I think there are places where Zwift could have improved, like on the bridge. The bridge is pretty barren, but I guess there's a good chance that that's reflective of how it looks in real life. I've never been myself, but overall, it was a pretty pleasurable experience riding on the new New York roads. And with that, please let me know what you all think of this new expansion in the comment section below. And with that, thank you all for watching and ride on. See you on the next one.